Welcome to Mlc Tv News Hour, reaching you live from the city of Lokoja, the Confluence State of Nigeria. I am Jane Gia Balagbogbo. First, the headlines. Federal government fixes August 2nd for federal civil servants promotion, confirmation exams. 45% of completed registrations nationwide invalid, says INEC. UK to give ASYLUM seekers one-way ticket to Rwanda. And 4 countries bid to host 2022-2023 UEFA Nations League. Now the news in detail. The federal government has approved the conduct of the combined promotion confirmation exams for employees in the federal civil service. The examination is scheduled to be held between Tuesday, August 2nd and Friday, August 5, 2022 across the federation. A statement by the Permanent Secretary Career Management Office, Dr. Marcus Ogunbiyi, on behalf of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi-Eson, said the examination was for federal civil servants from grade level 1 to 6, or its equivalent in the public service. Also, payment of non-refundable examination fee of 3,000 naira per candidate was approved by the Public Service Examination Board. The approved venues for the examination in state capitals are the federal government colleges, federal technical colleges, and federal training centers. In respect of the Federal Capital Territory, the venues are Government Secondary School, Tudunwada, Wuse Zone 4, and Government Secondary School, Gariki, Area 10. The use of reference books, that is, public service rules and financial regulations during examination, which was earlier abolished, has now been approved by the Public Service Examination Board at its 9th meeting. The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency has collaborated with the Nigerian Bottling Company to tackle plastic pollution across the states. The General Manager of LASEPA, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, disclosed this in a statement. Fashawe was quoted to have said this when she received the donation of 200 multiple-use bottles from NBC on behalf of the agency in Ikeja, adding that the fight against plastic pollution is a collective responsibility. She said she appreciates the gestures by NBC makers of Coca-Cola for supporting the agency's initiative to tackle plastic pollution by donating 200 multiple-use bottles. There is the need to encourage reusable materials as well as promoting recycling and turning of waste to wealth. Recyclers can come and partner with them in the fight against plastic pollution. These plastics are raw materials and can be recycled into new, useful products in exchange of cash rewards. The Director of Public Affairs, Communication and Sustainability, Coca-Cola Nigeria, Amaka Onyemelukwe, expressed the organization's readiness to partner the agency on recycling. The Olubadan of Ibadan land, Obalekan Balogun, has urged Yoruba groups agitating for a better Yoruba nation not to be weary until their goal is achieved. The monarch, according to a statement from the Olubadan Palace, hosted one of the groups called Atayashi, led by Tokunbo Ajasin, at his residence on Wednesday. Oba Balogun, who acknowledged the various challenges confronting the people, generally ranging from economic meltdown, violence, youth unemployment, among others, noted that the situation could weigh down the activists. One of the agitators, Benga Awoshede, who spoke on behalf of the group, said aside their coming to felicitate with Oba Balogun on his ascension to the Olubadan throne, the group also came to plead with him to use his rich experience to forge unity among his colleagues, Obas in Yoruba land. The lawyer-turned-activist noted that Oba Balogun stood out as one of the most learned kings in Yoruba land with academic, political and business exposure. Now on politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission said it has discovered 1,390,519 invalid registrations in the ongoing continuous voters registration. The Commission also said the figure amounted to 45% of the 2,523,458 completed registration. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, said this during a press conference in Abuja. According to him, the figure was from completed registrations starting from June 2021 to January 14, 2022. He said the country was now in the 4th quarter of the ongoing continuous voter registration, which was restarted on June 28, 2021, after it was suspended for the 2019 general election. While describing the development as worrisome, the INEC boss cited multiple registration, failure of automated biometric identification system, and incomplete data as the reasons for the invalid voters' registrations. Yakubu, who said the infrastructure happened in all states of the Federation, insisted that the invalid registrations will not be included in the register of voters. He said, while the number of new registrants was impressive, the Commission has a duty to clean up the data to ensure that only eligible Nigerians are registered. Yakubu said, sadly, it seems that many registrants, either out of ignorance that they do not need to re-register if they had done so before, or a belief that their systems will not detect this infraction, have gone out to register again. This is despite repeated warnings by the Commission against this illegal action. He said specific registrants associated with the infractions by the Commission staff may also face prosecution in line with Section 22 and 23 of the Electoral Act 2022. The INEC chairman assured all that the Commission would continue to clean up the register to eliminate invalid registration and ensure that only those who should be in the register of voters are included. Yakubu also said that 1,390,519 PVCs for genuine registrants have been printed, adding that 464,340,000 PVCs for verified applicants for transfer or replacement of cards have also been printed. Meanwhile, following the discovery, about 106,280 voters in Ekiti and Osun states were disqualified due to invalid registrations ahead of the governorship elections in the two states. In Ekiti State, a total of 40,234 new voters were registered, out of which 17,640 were voided, representing 43.9% of the completed registrations, while in Osun State, 218,412, representing 40.6% of the total number of new voters. Yakubu, however, assured that all registered voters in Osun and Ekiti states would have their PVCs ready before the governorship elections in the two states. Speaking on political parties' primaries, Yakubu maintained that the dates for all activities in the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general election, including the conduct of party primaries, were firm and fixed. According to him, only 10 political parties have served notices to the Commission for the conduct of their primaries. A presidential aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has promised to hand over power to youths if elected president of the country. He said this during a meeting with leaders of over 200 support groups and the leadership of the TCOM across the country in Abuja. According to a press statement signed by National Publicity Secretary, Atiku Support Organization, Dr. Victor Moses, the statement read, Atiku to work more with the youth and transit power to young generation, says Atiku Support Organization. Atiku expressed delight that more young people were now participating in politics, adding that he would mentor the young generation and hand over his political structure to them. The former vice president was quoted as saying he will mentor the youth and hand over power to them. He said he would like to work more with young people because young people are more agile, creative, and conversant with contemporary opportunities and challenges. Therefore, they call on all young Nigerians, delegates and non-delegates to rally around Atiku Abubakar to clinch victory as the PDP presidential flag bearer in the forthcoming primary and return elected as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the 2023 presidential elections. A former member of the House of Representatives for Bended Federal Constituency in Abia State, Nnenna Ukeje, has lamented the death of women in Nigerian politics, stating that men structure the game to fit themselves. Ukeje, a member of the People's Democratic Party who lost her seat to Chima Anyaso in the last party primary, added that she wanted to return to the Green Chamber to provide leadership with a human face to her constituents. Speaking after declaring her intention to contest at Alayi, her country home in Bende local government area, Ukeje said the lack of women in legislatures is phenomenal and a natural pandemic that women are washed away. Ukeje noted that patriarchy, poverty, and expensive politicking, among others, contributed immensely to that scenario, adding if there are no sort of intervention to open spaces for women, it is going to be more difficult. She pointed out that 32% of countries in the world have a sort of policy for women through fiat, legislation or policy, adding in Nigeria a short-term intervention is needed or the gap will continue to widen. The former lawmaker expressed her unhappiness when the gender-related bills were turned back at the National Assembly, stating that she was not surprised. Ukeja expressed her belief that women would proceed with the bill, pointing out that the country would have a better government with more women in politics. According to her, men calibrated women into not voting for themselves as more men are in the competition. She expressed her happiness that more women had started to do the right thing. On her chances of winning the incumbent, Ukeja said her constituents had served 2 masters and now know the best, adding they need people with a human face. She said her declarations is for leadership with a human face and to put smiles on the faces of constituents through giving back to the society and elevating the people who gave her their mandate. A chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Benga Olawekpo Hashim, has warned Nigerians against making their choice for the presidency in 2023 from career politicians who have been in government since 1999. According to him, Nigerians should not expect positive changes in their lives and in the country if they go ahead in choosing a politician who has been in government for the past 23 years. Olawekpo Hashim, who was the presidential candidate of the People's Trust in the 2019 general elections, made the suggestion in an interview with journalists on Wednesday. He stated, "The truth is that some of those who have stayed too long in the status quo have become part of the corrupt system, and it is an illusion to expect corruption to fight corruption." While explaining that a corrupt individual and system cannot fight corruption, he said the nation needed a clean break from its ugly past to break the heavy rot of its back in order to move forward. Olawekpo Hashim stated, "Driving convoys of cars around that they do not fuel themselves, escorted by security paid for by government, are far removed from the true realities of Nigeria and are therefore incapable of comprehending the urgency and depth of transformation that the nation needs." He said one of the things that attracted him to the APC in the president believed that corruption must be crushed in Nigeria, but added that sadly corruption had become one of the major reasons for the slow progress and the underbelly of some of the nation's security problems, such as banditry and kidnapping. Olawekpo Hashim added, "Nigeria loses a lot to corruption. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, a global consulting outfit, and if not arrested by 2030, corruption will be costing Nigeria 37% of our GDP. That is $200 billion, a whopping 100 trillion naira, about 15 times our national budgets." Olawekpo Hashim, who is set to make his official declaration for the presidential contest before the end of this month, promised to release to Nigerians his perspectives on important matters such as security, jobs, availability and affordability of petroleum products, stable electricity supply, how to tackle corruption, health, education, infrastructure, and so on. We go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Every country has its peculiar system of government. In Nigeria, we practice democracy, and this is applicable in some countries across the globe, including the United States of America. What is democracy? It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In the political arena, we are ready to x-ray how we play politics in Nigeria and other countries, the challenge of power shift syndrome, how it has impacted or affected the people. How can we make it better for all? Join Fatima Yacob on Mlc TV online every Saturday by 9 p.m. to discuss and to examine all about the politics and the power that be.
Mr. President, I was once there as an opposition senator. There was never a time that we called the president at that time, who was a PDP president, an insult, because this is our institution. And if we don't conduct ourselves with dignity and respect, nobody will respect us.
The heads of security in Nigeria made several different explanations for killings of our citizens.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby forward for the confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted nominees as National Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
To watch or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mlc TV, like our Facebook page, Mlc TV, and follow us on our Instagram, Mlc TV 2021. We are here to inform, educate, and to criticize constructively. Don't miss it.
Welcome back. Now on crime. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has said no fewer than 677 traffickers have been convicted and jailed between January and March 2022. A spokesperson for the agency, Femi Babafemi, in a statement said within the period under review, a total of 3,359 arrests were made, while 65,915.891 kilograms of assorted drugs were seized. No fewer than 2,223 drug users were also counseled through brief interventions and rehabilitation in NDLEA facilities across the country in the first quarter of the year. Figures that represent a fair balance between the agency's drug supply reduction and drug demand reduction activities. Lagos has the highest figure of drug seizures with 22,192.62 kilograms of illicit substances recovered from parts of the state, followed by the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, Ikeja, also in Lagos, with 8,979.869 kg of drugs seized between January and March, while Kano and Kaduna led the pack in the arrest of offenders with 194 arrests each within the same period. He also added that a total of 257 hectares of cannabis farms were destroyed in forests across Ondo State. 14.869 hectares suffered same fate in Edo and an hectare destroyed in Bayelsa State within the same period. A three-man panel of the Court of Appeal Lagos Division, led by Justice Peter Afem, upheld the appeal of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and dismissed the ruling of a federal high court in Lagos in the case involving a former executive director project, Niger Delta Development Commission, Twayo Omachuli. Omachuli is facing prosecution alongside Francis Momo, Don Peka Properties Limited, and Building Associates Limited on an amended 45-count charge bordering on conspiracy and money laundering to the tune of 3.6 billion naira. The judgment delivered by Justice Festus Ogunya held that the ruling of the lower court dating November 11, 2020, discharging the respondent of the money laundering charges, is hereby set aside, and he shall enter into his defense accordingly on the same counts. The appellate court, however, discharged Omachuli on counts 27, 28, and 29 of the charge. The defendant had pleaded not guilty to the charges. In the trial, the prosecuting counsel, Ekene Ihenacho, called 16 prosecution witnesses, the last being Shegun Temitokpe, a staff member of the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, who gave his testimony. However, rather than open their defense, the defendants filed a no-case submission which was heard on October 12, 2020, while the ruling was reserved till November 11, 2020. In his ruling on November 11, 2020, Justice Saliu Seidu had discharged Omachuli, saying he has gone through the charges preferred against the defendants as well as the evidence of all the 16 prosecution witnesses, and he has found no reason for the first defendant to enter the defense. Accordingly, the first defendant is hereby discharged. The judge, however, held that the other defendants had a case to answer, but the EFCC appealed the ruling of the lower courts. The EFCC spokesman Wilson Uwajarin said in a statement that the appellate court also today dismissed the applications of Momo and Building Associates Limited seeking to set aside the ruling of the lower court on their no-case submission. The wife of the Ondo State Governor, Betty Akeredolu, has vowed to get justice for a housewife, Iyanu Oluwaseun, whose husband poured hot water on her. It was gathered that the incident happened while the couple engaged in an argument which led to a fight at their residence in Owo, the headquarters of Owo local government area of the state. The husband was said to have been arrested by the men of the State Police Command while the victim was taken to a hospital for treatment. The wife of the governor condemned the alleged act, describing it as bestial and intolerable. Akeredolu, in a statement by the Special Assistant to the Governor on New Media and Archives, Debo Akimbami, said the act was shameful and could not be justified under any guise. According to the statement, the Ondo State Agency Against Gender-Based Violence was already handling the case to ensure justice was served. Women should at once accept the fact that it is foolhardy to indulge abusive spouses to the detriment of their mental and physical health. She said, "Why die in an abusive marriage? Women should speak up against abuse and possibly walk out of deleterious relationships." Now on foreign news. Some asylum seekers who arrive in the UK on small boats across the Channel will be given a one-way ticket to Rwanda under new government plans. Home Secretary Priti Patel is in the African nation to sign a deal for a £120 million trial involving mostly single men arriving in Britain via crossings. Refugee organizations have criticized the plans as cruel and urged a rethink. Labour said the plans was unworkable, unethical and extortionate. The Lib Dem said it would be expensive and ineffective. Precise details of the plan are yet to be confirmed, but reporting from Rwanda, Mark Easton said the trial would be restricted to mostly single men the British authorities believe are inadmissible. Under the proposal, Rwanda would take responsibility for them, put them through an asylum process, and at the end of that process, if they are successful, they will have long-term accommodation in Rwanda. The Rwandan government said migrants will be entitled to full protection under Rwanda law, equal access to employment and enrollment in healthcare and social care services. The UK Home Office believes existing asylum law will be enough to implement the plan, but questions remain about the legality of the scheme. Opponents have also said the annual cost of the full scheme would be far higher than the initial £120 million payment. Jonah Malik is standing by for our sports updates.
On our sports update, ex-internationals have urged the Nigerian Football Federation not to dwell on the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup, but focus more on preparing the team for the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifiers, which kicks off in June. The Eagles lost the World Cup ticket on the away goal rule after Ghana held the three-time African champions to a 1-1 draw in the second leg match in Abuja, March 29th. The first leg in Kumasi 4 days earlier ended in a goalless draw. Former Eagles goalkeeper Ikechiremu said the players must rededicate themselves to the team and ensure such setback don't happen again. Another ex-Eagles star, Garba Lawal, also stated NFF should not be thinking of Nigeria's failure for Qatar 2022 but the African Cup of Nations 2023 qualifiers, which will commence soon. He added, they don't have the time to start crying over spilled milk. Eagles will rise up again in a matter of time and the team will take up for their mistakes. Former Eagles left back Ifeanyi Udeze believes the team need a bit of reorganization to excel. The AFCON qualifiers will start soon, so the boys and the NFF must start preparation to avoid another setback. The players themselves must show character when playing for the country. The Eagles will know their opponents in the qualifying series for the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast after the Confederations African Football last Friday announced that the draw for the phase would hold April 19th. Belgium, Netherlands, Poland and Wales have declared interest in hosting the 2022-2023 UEFA Nations League finals. European Football Governing Body announced on Wednesday. The deadline to submit final bid, the ZER, is October 5th, and the host will be appointed in January 2023. The finals will be held from June 14 to 18th, 2023. Portugal won the first edition at home in 2019. France defeated Spain 2-1 last October in the finals of the 2020-2021 edition in Italy. Champions League quarterfinals second leg tie played on Wednesday nights in Spain. Atletico Madrid and Manchester City played a barren draw, but Manchester City secured semi-final ticket on a 1-0 win aggregate. Champions League quarterfinals second leg tie played on Wednesday nights in Spain. Atletico Madrid and Manchester City played a barren draw, but Manchester City secured semi-final ticket on a 1-0 win aggregate. While in England, Liverpool and Benfica settled for a 3-3 draw, but Liverpool went on to qualify on a 6-4 aggregate. The semi-finals will see Liverpool face Villarreal and Real Madrid against Manchester City. And that's sports update on MLC TV. I am Malik Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah, for the update. Let's join Matthias Ayodeji Peter for entertainment news.
On our entertainment news, this week's episode of Apple Music's Rap Live Africa radio, hosted by hip-hop aficionado Ebro Dadon and South Africa TV presenter and radio personality Lut Love, will feature Ghanaian rapper Black Sherif. Ebro and Lut will chat about Black Sherif's single Kwaku the Traveler, the #1 song on the Shazam Global Chart, now available to stream on Apple Music. Following the success of Second Sermon remix featuring Burna Boy, Black Sherif became the first Ghanaian artist to reach #1 on Nigeria's top 100 chart with his smash hit Kwaku the Traveler. The song is also currently in the top 10 of Apple Music in South Africa. Still on entertainment news from Africa, CK's Emiliana receives gold certification in France. The Nigerian emo Afrobeat singer has sold 100,000 units of his new song Emiliana in France. CK, who has already received 2 times platinum in France with his global smash hit Love Wanting Tea, is on his way to achieving double platinum after spending nearly 30 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 with Love Wanting Tea. CK has now received a gold certification in France for his lovely song Emiliana. Announcing this on his Twitter page, CK wrote, "God merci." In October 2021, barely 6 months ago, CK's Love Wanting Tea received a gold certification in France. Now, his new song has just amassed over 100,000 unit sales in the European country. And that is all on entertainment news today. My name is Matthias Ayodeji Peter, reporting for MLC TV. Back to Akasta for more stories.
Thank you, Matthias, for the update. 5 persons, including 2 Reverend sisters, a couple and their driver, have been burnt to death in a road crash at Nofia along the Oka-Enugu Expressway, Anambra State. The crash was between a Toyota Highlander with plate number BMR 570BE and a Toyota Hiace with no plate number. It was gathered that the bus driver, who was at the top speed, lost control and rammed into the Highlander from behind as both vehicles caught fire. 5 persons comprising 2 male adults and 3 female adults were involved in the crash. Men of the State Fire Service later put on the fire. A rescue team of the Federal Road Safety Corps was on ground to manage traffic and ensure the obstruction caused by the crash removed. The Anambra State Sector Command FRSC Adeoye Irelewuyi commiserated with the families of the victims and advised motorists to keep to the recommended speed limits. He said a Toyota Highlander and a Toyota Hiace bus were involved in a fatal road traffic crash around 6:30 a.m. And that is the size of our package today. Join us tomorrow at the same hour to watch our news as we give you updates on happenings within and across the globe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mlc TV, like and follow our Facebook page, MLC TV, Instagram, MLC TV 2021, and Twitter at MLC TV1. For your events, coverage, information, contribution, advert, and sponsorship, please call any of our numbers displayed on your screen. Join us Fridays and Saturdays to watch our special programs. Friday 9 p.m. Local Government and You, Saturday 7 p.m. Family Affairs, Saturday 9 p.m. Political Arena, and Sunday 6 p.m. Women's World. It is Mlc TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. I am Janet Gia Balagbubu. Please continue to be your brother's keeper to build a united and peaceful society together. Good evening and bye for now.